I paid $114,625 for a car that just stopped being made. Porsche just killed it. In 2 years, the ones still running will be worth more than they cost new. Here's the math nobody's running. Porsche ended petrol 718 production in October 2025. The market now prices a fixed supply. The line is closed. Order books are already closed, and European buyers already lost access when the cars failed new cybersecurity regulations. In the US, you can still find one, but the window is closing. Every GTS 4.0 and GT4 on a dealer lot is the last one that will enter the market, with no build slots or allocations left. If you're looking at a GTS 4.0 on a dealer lot today, you're not looking at a new car. You're looking at a finite asset. Supply is fixed, demand isn't, and the deadline passed. And that only matters if one thing is true, which it just became. Get the spec wrong at $130,000 and you can still burn $20,000 while the right car holds its floor. The math is simple. Domino 5 is the production cliff that makes the entire value argument possible. Because without a hard supply stop, that locks the share count. None of the other dominoes can fall, and that is why this domino comes first. Here's how it works. Porsche built the petrol 718 on the 982 platform, and that platform died in October 2025, with no plan to restart it. Porsche built 22,655 718s in 2020 and 23,790 in 2024, roughly 23,000 a year before shutting the line. Think of the outgoing petrol 718 as a closed-end fund. The share count is locked, demand can grow, but supply can't. When a buyer walks into a showroom in 2026, the answer won't be, "We can order one," because the last one is already gone. The electric 718 successor isn't coming until 2027 at the earliest, because Northvolt's bankruptcy pushed the launch back 2 years. Oliver Bloom called its arrival the medium term. So you're choosing between a known quantity and a 2-year wait for an unknown. In that gap, the outgoing petrol 718 doesn't compete with a newer, better Porsche. It competes with a question mark. The electric replacement resets the depreciation clock on a new platform with battery degradation, resale uncertainty, and no track record. If you think the electric successor will hold value like a Porsche, here's what the last electric Porsche did. A 2024 Taycan lost 31%, or $29,450 from a starting value of $92,550. That's not a depreciation curve. That's a cap table reset. Drop a comment. Does the electric 718 reset the depreciation clock, or does the gap make petrol cars worth more? The petrol car doesn't have to appreciate to win. It only has to avoid the 31% hole. GTS 4.0 listings already run from $117,889 to $139,995. The floor is forming before the replacement arrives. Domino 4 is the precedent Porsche won't say out loud, but the auction records say it for them. And those records document a pattern that repeats every time Stuttgart kills the naturally aspirated manual car. The numbers are public. Naturally aspirated manual Porsches that Porsche discontinued for turbocharged or electrified successors have a track record of outperforming their original MSRP once production stopped. And buyers aren't paying for the car. They're paying for the characteristics the replacement can't offer, like flat six sound, naturally aspirated throttle response, and a manual gearbox. The 997 GT3 RS 4.0 is the cleanest proof, and its numbers aren't subtle. The 997 GT3 RS 4.0 is the extreme case, with a US base MSRP of $185,950. Porsche built only 600, with 126 sent to the US. Today, the average auction price is $732,222, with a $1.26 million high sale in July 2025. That isn't a promise for your GTS 4.0. You don't need its ceiling. You need the floor to stop falling. The 981 Cayman GT4 launched around $85,600 and now averages $97,944, with a peak of $145,600. The 997.2 GTS went out at about $120K. European listings today sit at roughly €104,000, flat against its launch price. Porsche has done this before, but here's the uncomfortable part for anyone who thinks this only happens to limited-run cars. In 1995, they killed the 928 for economic reasons because it never met sales expectations. That car bottomed out at $11,500. Today, clean examples average $30,000 to $40,000. The car nobody wanted built a floor because the experience couldn't be replaced. The 928 wasn't a 600-unit special with a numbered plaque and a waiting list. It was a complicated grand tourer that spent years as the Porsche people bought after deciding a 911 cost too much, which is hardly the usual road to collector status. Yet clean cars with records pulled away from tired examples because buyers began paying for the V8, the transaxle balance, and the fact that Porsche never repeated it. But don't chase a clean 928 versus 911 chart. The usable lesson is simpler. A discontinued Porsche the market once dismissed can build a floor when enough buyers decide the experience can't be replaced. Porsche misjudged what the market actually values before. Domino 3 in the 928 video showed the pattern. Here's the pattern showing up again in real time, in a car you can still buy today. The GTS 4.0 is not a collector car yet, but a used sports car with a production end date, and that is the exact profile that produced the 928's post-death appreciation and the 997 GT3 RS 4.0's explosion. If you're cross-shopping a petrol 718, drop your trim, engine, transmission, and asking price in the comments. I'll tell you if it's the right car. Domino 3 is what actually drives the premium. And it's not nostalgia or engineering alone, because simplicity is the ultimate scarcity, and the 718 GTS 4.0 is the simplest new Porsche you can buy today. It's the engine. The GTS 4.0 and GT4 both have a naturally aspirated 4.0-liter flat six, with no turbos, intercoolers, or boost pipes. That cuts long-term ownership risk, because turbo seal failure and boost pressure problems aren't 4.0-liter problems. The manual market already prices that difference. High-mileage GTS 4.0 manuals sit around $92,000 to $98,000. Clean, low-mileage cars run $102,000 to $115,000, and collector-spec late cars bring $118,000 to $130,000 or more. A 2023 manual with 3,700 miles hammered at $106,000 against a $103,000 sticker. GT4 Porsche Finder listings cluster between $122,000 and $159,000. Now look at the alternative. The electric 718 successor is a 2027 product with no track record. There is no multi-year data on EV Porsche resale curves outside the Taycan. You are buying into battery technology that hasn't proven itself over a decade. You're buying into a platform that might not exist in 5 years if the new CEO cancels it. That isn't a value play. That's a speculation tax. So who's buying these cars? A clean low-mileage manual GTS 4.0 lists from $102,000. A high-mileage base 718 sits near $40K. The $62,000 spread is the market sorting itself out. The 718 is a volume car, not a 600-unit homologation special. Fair point. The GTS 4.0 won't hit $732,000, but it only needs to hold value better than a base 718. These are different markets. One buyer wants cheap Porsche access, the other wants the last naturally aspirated flat 6 and manual package. The market doesn't move because a YouTuber said so. It moves because someone with a checkbook wants the last of something. It's not the flipper. The forever car buyer wants the last naturally aspirated Cayman or Boxster before Porsche erases the flat 6 from the mid-engine lineup. They want the witness car, the one that says, "I was there when they stopped building them." That buyer isn't counting on appreciation. They know nobody else will ever build this car again, which drove the 928's post-death rise and the 997 GT3 RS 4.0's auction records. This is the enjoyment engineering lane. You buy it because you know what a flat 6 at 7,800 RPM feels like, and you know Porsche won't make that again. The idiot tax isn't overpaying for the petrol car. It's treating the electric replacement as a like-for-like swap without doing the math. If you think a 2027 electric Cayman drives like a 2025 GTS 4.0, you haven't driven either. I bought a GTS 4.0 for $114,625 when Porsche announced the end, and I maintained it as a curation car. I drive about 3,400 miles a year because I wanted the last flat 6 mid-engine Porsche before the line died. Manual cars already trade above sticker on Bring a Trailer. Forever owners are voting for analog. Here's what that gap looks like in real money. Every month, without a new petrol 718, the spread between supply and demand widens by one more sale. Days on market for GTS 4.0s are shrinking, asking prices are firming, and the manual to PDK spread, roughly $3,700 when new, is widening into a real premium on the used market. The calendar is the catalyst, but the market is already moving. From October 2025 to 2027, you have a fixed supply of petrol 718s and no new mid-engine Porsche entering the market. The GTS 4.0 and GT4 are the last naturally aspirated mid-engine sports cars Porsche will ever build. This is a mechanical scarcity trade, not a hype trade. Buy the car you'd actually want to drive, not the one you think you can flip. The petrol 718 isn't appreciating because it's special. It's appreciating because Porsche just stopped making it and the replacement isn't here yet. It's not a bubble, that's a calendar. Your call is simple. You can wait for the 2027 electric car and hope it's worth the premium. Or you can buy the last naturally aspirated mid-engine Porsche before the market decides the floor for you. I made my choice. The comments are open. Subscribe so the next video reaches you before the dealer does.